Has the media ever refused to air the President of the United States addressing his people before? No, I'm really asking. Has this ever happened before? I don't remember this happening to Biden or Obama. I think we know why, but why? It's just wrong. What are they afraid of us hearing? I was just wondering.
Quick reminder to our viewers, we'll be watching tonight's presidential address and listening to what the president says tonight. But we're not going to take it live, as we've been discussing. That's because this president, sadly, has a history of misleading and in some cases simply false statements on what we've been talking about tonight. Election security and integrity. Also, the White House earlier today said he would be showing newly classified documents. So we want to make sure that we have time to review those documents, talk to experts about them, contextualize whatever he says or shows before airing it.
Election integrity.
Oh, really? Now they're concerned about that?
He was so fearful of tonight's speech and anything to do with election interference. And why are they attempting to discredit President Trump's speech before they even heard it? And lastly, what's your message to AOC, who is asking for President Trump, the mainstream media, to actually censor the sitting president's speech tonight?
Yeah, I think that the mainstream media should air the president's speech and allow the American people to draw their own conclusions from it. Again, I think it's important that the American public hears directly from the President of the United States on a topic that, to your point, is very near and dear to the hearts of many Americans across the country, the integrity of our elections. This should be a nonpartisan, non-controversial issue.
World country that has elections like we have. In a rare move, NBC and ABC fake news have both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about because of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they know how corrupt our system is and they don't want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses. They use our public multi-billion-dollar in value airways for absolutely no money. They pay nothing. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting. They pay nothing for multi-billion-dollar assets. Great damage has been done to our country. Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen, and the trust of the American people was lost. This cannot be allowed to continue. Every American, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or otherwise, should be able to agree that we deserve the most secure, honest, and fair election system anywhere in the world. Secure elections should be a partisan, really, we should be together, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, everybody. And it should not be a partisan issue. It should cause to unite us, not to divide us. This should be a cause. We should be united, not divided.
This is most likely why ABC, NBC, and CNN didn't want to air President Trump's speech tonight. Check out the video really quick.
This document says, and this is by the CIA, the strategy included efforts to use Chinese contacts with big U.S. companies to influence U.S. business leaders to turn against the President of the United States of America. The Chinese government sought to identify U.S. journalists who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them large sums of money to write more negative articles about him, as many as they could, and they didn't care what they said. The Chinese government wanted U.S. president to lose the next election, and the reason they wanted me to lose is because they knew I was wise to them.
They obviously don't care about election interference, and we can see why. But maybe their licenses should be revoked. But the point being is, we need safe and fair elections. We live in the best country in the world, and we have China interfering in our elections. Pass the Save America Act.
I am convinced that the mainstream media has become dangerously disconnected from the American people at this point. I just find it really ridiculous that major outlets decided or are choosing to decide what information the public is allowed to hear and which information should be ignored. I mean, this is a sign of communism, isn't it? Am I wrong on that? You know, I mean, when the president of the United States addresses the nation, Americans should be able to hear the message directly and judge it for themselves. I don't think that's called journalism at this point. That's just information control. And the media is supposed to report the news, not act as gatekeepers who decide what the public is permitted to know. But something needs to be done.
Yes.
Because if you have 40-50% of the nation that think that it's okay to censor the president, has this ever happened before? Has the president ever actually addressed the nation? All of the major outlets not cover it? I've never heard of such a thing.
I think that the American people are intelligent and they are able to listen to opposing points of view and draw their own conclusion, which is exactly why they did not show the address. If they did not think we could do that, they would have happily shown it. It is the fear that we can do that that keeps them from showing it. And the FCC license is basically the American people subsidizing these companies. It is unfair to ask us to subsidize you and then for you to withhold the product from us. The president addressing the nation is a product that those companies should be showing us. They should not have the level of flexibility to say we get to determine what we want to. Now, they could do that if they were completely private, but you can't ask for our subsidy and then want to act as a private corporation. You are not a private corporation. You are a private corporation that operates in the interests of the public. And it is in the interests of the public where I don't know that they'll be able to be revoked, but they absolutely could be fined. And they should be fining them every day from now until the time they run that speech in its entirety in prime time at 9 o'clock and every day, $1 million a day. I don't care what it is. They should be fining them for doing this. The reason the media is so loath to discuss election integrity is because they were part of the grift. They were part of the scam.
That's right. Amen.
There is no way that could have been pulled off in 2020. And I don't know about you, but I stayed up to 4 a.m. on 2020. Because if you remember in 2016, Trump had won probably by midnight, probably somewhere between 11 p.m. and midnight. They did not ever really, if you watch, go back and watch, it's still on YouTube. They waited almost 3 hours because they couldn't get Hillary to concede.
Right.
And then what ended up happening is the media still never called the election for Trump. He came out and announced that he had just gotten off the phone with Hillary, that she had conceded, and then they started running the banner that he was the 45th president. But she did not concede on that night, and neither did the media announce on that night. But initially, the person who reported to us that he had won and that she had conceded that he had won was Donald Trump. So we can see where he is concerned. They don't hold up their end of the bargain, that they are not acting in the best interest of the public. To me, this is yet another small but important salvo in the civil war that we are currently in.
Right.
Because it's a soft civil war does not make it any less a war. This is a war against the elites and the people. And the elites are hiding or embedded in institutions like media through which they act. No, it is the people who own CNN and ABC and CBS who made that decision. And many of them may have made that decision because, in fact, their names may be involved with taking payments from the Chinese, may be involved with being part of the Dominion systems.
We don't need television executives filtering reality for us.
Come on.
At least the majority of us anyway. I got to tell you, man, it's frightening. Like listening to them, come out and say, hey, we're not doing this and it's for your own benefit. That should scare everybody.
Come on.
It should scare everybody. And what really concerns me, is how many people that are just comfortable with the media companies silencing or ignoring the president simply because they dislike the guy. That is a concern. Think about this. Where is the people on TikTok crashing out because they feel like, hey, y'all aren't being transparent with us? Where is it? This right here lets you know that, man, hey, we are in trouble as a nation when we have half of the population here in our country is okay with the media censoring the sitting president. Whatever happened to just respecting the office? You know, AT can attest this, and I'm sure all my folks, you know, in the military, they can attest to it. I'm sure we work. I mean, all of you guys, y'all work for some COs or some officers that you didn't really care for, but you respect the rank. You still pop and salute when he walks through. You know, even if you know he's a dirtbag, maybe he's a jerk, maybe he's incompetent, you still respect the rank. We've lost that in this country, man. We've lost it.
I think that it's very important for us to understand that the secular media, the left media, they are telling you to your face that they are the ones that are in charge. They are telling you to your face that they want to control what you think and what you hear. And I think that it is unfortunate that American people haven't taken the time to evaluate how they're being treated by the media, because they're not hiding this. They're not hiding this. They've done it often over again. I've looked at several books. One book is called The Steal by Joe Hoff. There's another book called Rigged by Molly Hemingway. They go into detail about what happened during that time. And I think that we as American citizens have to learn how to do our own research. And when somebody tell you that they don't have no respect for you, you should believe them. You really should believe them. When they tell you that we are not going to let you hear it because we don't think that you should be listening to this kind of stuff, we will tell you what to believe. I want to see if there's going to be demonstrations in front of their studios. When are we going to start demonstrating in front of their studios and documenting their disrespect for us? When that happens, you may see some kind of changes. But we don't rebel and we don't show our disapproval publicly and consistently, they're going to keep this foolishness going.
Once censorship becomes acceptable against someone that you can oppose, it eventually just becomes used. It's going to be used against you. And I don't think the American people understand that. If you're okay with this man being censored, I promise you, your time is coming.
That's right.
It's coming. I promise you it is. What happens, you know, when the pastors are being censored, you know, for speaking the word of God? What happens? What happens then?
Not far away.
What this right here showcases that we're not far away from that. It's actually right around the corner. It's closer than you think.
And your failure to rebel tells them that it's okay.
Yeah, I think part of the issue is them not liking him based on a perception that was given to them. It's just like you say, it's the rank. Why we're not appreciating the rank, appreciating who he is, appreciating the seat that he sit in. We're so focused on the man that we are not going to be able to touch. There's so many people in this world that we don't like, but because they're at this position, you can't do nothing with it. Just like you mentioned in the military, just like even in positions that we in at work, some people don't like their boss, but you're going to go to work every day.
That's right.
You're going to show up on time. You're going to do what you're supposed to do. You're going to 5 minutes late, you're going to give your boss an excuse because you fear your boss. But for some reason, we can talk about the president like he just whatever, like he does not run the free world. And how is this considered still the free world when we're taking the free speech from the president? We're taking the free speech from the president. Like you said, it's going to end up trickling down to us. And just like you said, they got the separation between church and state because they want to control what we do say. They want to control how we say it, the way we put it.
Right. First of all, when Wise said that Americans, they're smarter than some people give them credit for. Some people. But has this happened before? Yes, it actually has happened before where they have censored a standing president from being able to actually speak his remarks. In the last 10 years, it happened once to Biden. He had, I can't have it in front of me. He had an event that he did called Soul of the Nation speech. ABC, CBS, and NBC did not run that. They ran reruns and game shows instead. And then it happened to Obama one time in 2014 when he had a primetime speech on immigration reform because they viewed it to be overly political. Every other time it's happened since then has been President Trump. No less than 4 times it's occurred to him, including the most recent time here yesterday, 2019 during the shutdown, 2021, and 2024. What's interesting about this is talking about Americans when it comes to the media. I want to back this one up off of some research that I pulled before. So first of all, most Americans don't trust the media overall. You'd be hard-pressed to find someone and say, hey, you trust the news? Like implicitly, most people are going to say no to that. But the catch is Democrats trust them far more. Before somebody has a panic attack in the comment section, I'm not going to see anyway. It comes from Gallup poll in September 2025. 28% of Americans just in general have a great deal or a fair amount of trust in mass media. That's not a lot, which means 70% of them have little or no trust. But amongst those 28% of Americans that do trust the media, 51% of them are Democrats, 27% of them are independents, and then obviously a margin of error, do your math. Republicans are just 8% of individuals who actually do trust them. So you're not going to find a lot of Republicans who just in general trust the media, but you will find a greater amount of Democrats. But the catch is the journalists. The journalists know that they're not reporting the truth, and I'm telling you, they simply don't care. This is coming from Pew Research. U.S. journalists differ from the public in their views of both sidism, so you can look this information up. 22% of people believe that not every single side deserves coverage. That's just Americans. Now, for journalists, 55% of them say, and I quote, "Not every side always deserves equal coverage." But I got to piece that part a little bit more. Of those journalists that said that, 70% of them are liberal. And so this is a factual reality that the news knows they're not reporting both sides, doesn't care they're not reporting both sides, genuinely believes it's not important to report both sides. And on the other side of those in receiving it, it is most likely going to be a liberal that says, yeah, no, trust it 100% implicitly. Why not? We don't care if they don't report both sides. And so we have a, once again, weaponized ignorance, emotional ignorance of individuals. Of course, they don't care that Trump wasn't talking. That is TDS right there. And it's something I don't typically talk about, but my goodness, they keep giving good arguments for it. Why would you not? Even if you didn't vote for the guy, even if you don't like the guy, this is your country. This impacts you whether you like it or not, unless you're ready to say he's lying about everything, at which point in time I will ask you, where are the articles of impeachment? Why is he still up there? Until that happens, he is still your president. I know that hits the ears wrong. I know all media and news and all the things you watch are saying he's a horrible guy. Just try it for 1 week. Try looking at something different. At least be able to say that, yes, I am objective. I have removed my bias because I didn't just take, one sentence here or there out of context. Right. I actually listened to Fox News. I actually tried listening to a church. Why not? I actually listened to the stuff that Trump said, and I looked into it. Go see if there's any evidence at all about election fraud back from the 2020 timeframe. Literally anything. And if you can find one thing, then he is telling the truth. But that's a level of critical reasoning and emotionality that just simply does not exist and widespread in the United States of America. We never want to be wrong. We never want to admit when we're wrong. We just want to be loud. And our emotions have told us that as long as you cry the loudest, as long as you're offended the most, then you're good to go. Who cares about rationality? Who cares about your brothers and sisters? Who cares about the country? And I don't know. I don't have a lot of sunshine and rainbows on this one because to be scriptural about this one, the word deceive comes up pretty doggone often when it talks about the Antichrist in the world and it talks about the end times. It makes you wonder, how would they go about that deception with ease? Because they already will listen to everything that's in front of the screen and they will do what they're told to do.
Yeah. Well, you can see it. They're actually training the people.
Yes, they're
training the people to accept it. That's what they're doing right now. I mean, those of us on this side of things, man, we got to defend. We not only say got to, we must defend free speech and demand transparency, man. We have to.
That's right.
We have to. And we got to be willing to hold the media accountable, which I don't think a lot of people are willing to do. And to be honest with you, hey, the answer is not less information. It's not less information. It is allowing the American people to hear the truth for themselves and then come up with their own conclusion based off of the facts that's been laid out before them. Because they've removed us away, from God. They've removed us away from the word. A lot of us, we don't even understand what our actual God-given rights are. We don't even understand that. And you have so many people out here just willing to go along to get along. And they just take whatever it is that these people give them. And they just take it.
Matthew 7:15 says, "Beware of false prophets who come disguised as harmless sheep, but are really vicious wolves." Mainstream media is the false prophet. I guess you realize that it's called television because they're telling you a vision. They're telling you what to think. They're telling you how to process things. The thing is, I know we said we need to be careful because the censoring will come to us. It already came to us. I think y'all forgot what happened between 2021 till this present day. I can tell you very carefully what happened to us on TikTok. Every 2 seconds I said a word they didn't like, I was shut down immediately. They didn't care. I know there are people here on YouTube, men and women of God. I'm talking about men and women of God, not people that are out here talking about, they're just talking about God. Their platforms were demonetized and shut down prior to this year, prior to President Trump getting back into office. They were shut down for speaking the truth. So it's coming. It is already here. But you have people who will sit here and make statements. You feel like ignorance is bliss, but ignorance is not bliss because you will still face the consequences of your non-actions in this situation. because that's what people fail to realize. It's not, you're not going to be exempt just because you don't believe in it. You're not going to be exempt because you're like, well, I'm staying neutral. You will have to face the consequences of those actions as well. Now, I will say this. Everything that President Trump addressed last night, they didn't want people to see it because then people would realize they were under a psyop the entire time.
Mhm.
What happened in 2020 was a psyop that they had that took place. What is continuing to happen between race relations between Black and white people is part of a psyop. If you were actually tuned in, if you actually went in and actually looked at the stuff, you would know, hold up, they've been playing with us this entire time. These are foreign operatives. As I said last night, the fact that foreign operatives have our date of birth, name, address,
Social security numbers, all personal information.
That should concern everybody. But because the word warns us that even when it comes to tribulation and they are going through all that they're going through, they still will turn around and curse God instead of realizing this is Satan. This is the darkness. This is the evil. They're seeing it with their own two eyes and they won't hear because they are so reprobate. I was watching mainstream media and what they were saying, and CBS didn't want to cover it, but they sure got out there and started fact checking what he said, even though it was proven that they were lying. They got out there real quick to say, we fact check what he said. Why are you fact checking? You didn't even want the people to see it. I want you to understand that's another example of soft bigotry, of low expectation. That is another example because they literally say that we are going to filter what y'all get to see and not see because y'all are too stupid to actually know the difference. That's literally what they're saying. So please understand, God is moving, and it is our job to thank God for what is happening and to keep praising him because he's doing some work. And we are not just supposed to sit still and do nothing. Our job, because too many of us sit down and they be like, well, President Trump's going to do it. No. Pick up your phone and start calling your representatives, call your senators and tell them, we want the SAFE Act passed now because the fact that they have all of our information, the fact that they have been doing psyops on us, the fact that Obama's involved, the fact that I sent Brother Wise's video of Hillary Clinton with Rachel Maddow discussing what if we allegedly asked China to help us in our elections. This is all documented.
We did.
All of this. Right there should tell each and every one of you, we need the Save America Act passed and we need to support the president more than ever. This is the time for each and every one of you. Stop sharing anything from mainstream media. When you have platforms like this that is telling the truth, this is who the Lord is trying to shift y'all from the false prophet media to media that's going to give you the truth. Stop supporting those that are just going to lie to you, that's going to program you, that is going to run a psyop on you. Support the people that's going to give you the truth. And remember, you have the most transparent president, period. Documents are released for you. You can watch it on YouTube. You can go watch it on whitehouse.gov. Stop giving these people who are lying to you.
That's right, your attention.
The chance to lie to you because you're basically asking for your demise. Stop doing it.
I just want to say that they need to get out there in the street too and start letting them know that we're not taking it. Those crowds in the street mean something. When you start saying, listen, you have openly disrespected us and we're calling you on this. That needs to be done. We got to stop letting these people punk us and not show our power. The other groups can do it. We see when they think they've been done wrong, even when they haven't been done wrong, they get out there and the public. We need to get out there in the public and let them know. Start protesting in front of their studios and calling them their names out, documenting what they said. We need to do that if we're going to be changing our nation, because that when people see that, they can get with it. They can see that something's being done. Behind closed doors, nobody knows what's happening.
I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on any of this? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family or buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, it can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. Then the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.